Good evening, viewers, and welcome to InterSim Esports here on a Sunday night. And we are at none other but Daytona Beach, Florida. And you know what that means. We are Super Speedway racing here at Daytona International Speedway for the next round, round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Joining me in the box, as always, here on a Sunday night is Paul Jackson. Good evening to you, Paul.
How you going, Aiden? Yeah, as you mentioned, we are at Daytona. So tonight we've got 80 laps around the Super Speedway with 75% fuel, one set of tyres, no fast repair, and one green-white checkers.
Yeah, we're definitely in for a good night of racing here. If it's anything to go by in the first 6 rounds of the championship as we head into round 7 here at Daytona International Speedway tonight, I am sure there is nothing that will surprise us. But we do have Justin Witcher currently leading the championship in currently as we go into round 7, Paul, rather, but he's had a really solid 2 weeks as you bring that up on the screen there. Well done, good timing, mate. But Justin Witcher is up the front there on 206 points. Christopher Finlay, after having an early championship lead after the first 3 or 4 rounds, has now succumbed that to Justin Witcher and is back there in second on 186 points. Gary Wellman, ever consistent there in P3 on 174 points, and Darren McKenzie and it looks like Troy Davidson to round out the 5 are tied there on 168 points. So definitely a lot to play for still at the front there, Paul, as we've just gone through halfway the series. So we are 6 rounds down. We do have 6 to go, and what a great first series this has been for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, and of course bringing on their amazing sponsor, Wayrite Royal Gander.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a good showing as we're about to move into qualifying, I think, now. But yeah, each week they're getting about 25 to 30 drivers each week, so it's been great to see the fields staying at a good size.
Yeah, great showing. Different results, different people from all places of the world. Americans, New Zealand, people from Australia, all those different nationalities, which is really good. As you can see, points go all the way down to 48. But I think 25 or so are there tonight and ready to rumble at Daytona International Speedway as we move into qualifying, Paul. So it is the theme of iRacing this week, Super Speedway, through official stuff, through league stuff. Everything sort of matches up with the real world type of things, I believe. So Super Speedway is the theme, and we're here at Daytona International Speedway on Sunday night for round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. There's been a lot of different winners, a lot of different results. Looking forward to see what these guys will bring to us tonight, Paul. But we're currently into qualifying. A minute 10 has just dropped. Looks like Ruben Phelps has just dropped a purple sector, which is good for him. Just watching currently the timing hasn't come up at the moment. Jamie Nankervis, Christopher Finlay, Shannon Wright just putting a purple sector up there, Paul, too, as well. So a lot of personal best, but there's a lot of sessional best coming up to the top there.
Yeah, definitely. Just having some problems with SDK once again. I had to update before we went live because the tower was all squashed together and now it doesn't want to come up, even though it was showing before. So hopefully that'll come back for the race. There's a tower there, so maybe it hadn't just now it looks like they're all coming up there, so they hadn't done laps yet. So Troy Davidson currently sitting in P1 there in qualifying.
Yeah, he is 48.74 up the front there, leading the way. He'll make his way around his second of his flyers at the moment. Still on board there with Ruben Phelps, which looks like at the moment he is currently back there in P6 with a 48.98. So he'll be looking for a better run on this second lap around. Raymond Yeager, who was definitely in the fight last week for round 6, is up there again, showing his muscle in P2. Jamie Nankervis with a solid result, currently at a 48.78, rounding out those top 3 positions. Dwayne Priestley, Shannon Wright, Ruben Phelps, Terry Marwood, Christopher Finlay, Matt Payton. But we still have the final laps of these guys to do, so we'll see how that plays out. I'm sure it's not going to stay the way it is, Paul. Gary Wellman's moving, Nigel Payton's moving. The times are definitely moving really quickly tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And Aaron Dillon's just jumped up into P4 there with Christopher Finlay in 6. Shannon Wright's just moved up to P5 as well.
Yeah, and Reece May's just jumped up into the second position there with a 48.74. So bang identical times currently for the first 3 drivers. Troy Davidson, 48.74. Reece May, 48.74. Raymond Yeager, 48.74. We'll see what this Pinnacle Esports car can do as he comes across the line here. Not sure who it is. I believe it's Greg Spencer. We'll see where Greg goes, and he is in P5 there currently, Paul, with a 48.82. So 2 of the Pinnacle Esports cars there inside the top 5 of qualifying as we currently sit with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, and Adam Malone making his way across the line now, so we'll see where he's going to slot into the field here. And
he might be setting up for a second lap here. Yeah, he might be setting up for a second lap here, Paul. I believe a 49.19 as opposed to pole currently at a 48.74. He might have been holding back here, so we'll stay on board with him. He's going to be one of the last drivers to set his flying lap. So this is pretty much the lap here for Adam Malone to see where he will start round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries here on the InterSim Esports Network. But we'll see him now go into 3. He's got to keep it right down to that yellow as smooth as he can. Minimal steering inputs, as you can see there. So this might be a fast lap. He is in a yellow, so it doesn't look like it's going to better him, and it looks like he's gone into pit lane there and thought second of it, and he wasn't going to go in any better. So looks like there, Paul, that's going to be his starting position out of P19. Jackson Callow, though, we see on screen currently doesn't have a time, and it only has 7 seconds of qualifying left. So not sure whether Jackson's going to be able to set a time here, but a little bit late coming out of the pits there, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. I think he might have been a late joiner, possibly, and didn't have enough time there to get a qualifying lap in. But here's our grid for starting round 7 at Daytona.
Yeah, round 7, Daytona International Speedway, 50 miles north of Orlando at Daytona Beach, Florida. In the virtual world is the Australasian Supercar eSeries round 7. Off the pole, we have Troy Davidson. On the outside of the first row is Reece May. Inside second row, Raymond Yeager, followed by Jamie Nankervis in P4. On the inside of the third row, Greg Spencer. On the outside of him, Aaron Dillon. 7th will be Shannon Wright, followed by Justin Witcher, the current championship leader, there in 8th position. Dwayne Priest there in 9th, Christopher Finlay on the outside of him, rounding out the first 5 rows in 10th position. Gary Wellman will start out of P11, Nigel Payton out of P12, Paul.
And over the page, we got Kay Donnelly and Matt Patton in 14 there. Ruben Phelps and Todd Maxfield on row 8. Terry Marwood, Andy Barber, Adam Malone and Brett Campbell rounding out the top 20. Derek Jacobs, Jaden Russell, Michael Shaw and Jackson Callow in P24.
And rounding out the grid there, sorry to cut you off, Paul, I wasn't sure we had the extra 2. My live timing's catching up to them going live, so I do apologise there, my friend, but looks like we'll just finish off that grid at the moment. So Michael Berta there. I haven't seen his name in this series so far, so it looks like this might be his first showing in the Australasian Supercar eSeries, so he'll start out at P25. So P26 rounding out the field is Steve Hoppett. So there's your 26 car starting order for round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries here at Daytona International Speedway. Again, we are oval in a supercar like we have seen over a round or 2 this year. We have gone road racing as well. So this series is a series which does do a lot of ovals, but we do go to some of the classic road courses as well. So we are round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Troy Davidson will bring us to the pole. Reece May on the outside of P2. Big thank you before we get under green, Paul, and I know I can talk and I need to sometimes let you get in as Troy Davidson decides to give all the crowd, the virtual crowd, a wave. Ray White Rural Gander, big shout out to them, sponsor of this series also. Witcher Electrics, Justin Witcher, the leader of this championship as well, AP Esports. So jump on all their socials. But, mate, we always make our guess on who's going to win. So they go down the back straight. Troy Davidson bringing us to the green. Quick thought from you. Who's got this one? I'll give you mine.
Oh, I haven't even had a chance to look at who's here, so can't go by. I'm going to have to go 2 picks here of Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher. Both of them have some pretty strong showings, so I'll have to go for both of them again tonight.
Yeah, good picks. I'm going to go for Matt Payton. I believe he's going to get up there tonight. He's had some good solid showings lately with a little bit of bad luck, as you could say. So I'll go with Matt Payton. So there we go. There is our picks. It is Daytona Speedway, so you never know. They are coming to the green. It looks like they need to catch up a little bit there. I don't know what's going on here with the start. It looks like a lot of cars are behind, unless my screen is not showing up. But anyway, we're green here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and that is a really, really weird start there, Paul.
Yeah, definitely looks like we've got a caution as well. So I'm not too sure what happened there on the start. Someone holding up the field at the back there, but I'm sure race admins will definitely be looking at that start on the post-race review.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like no one was catching up, so I believe that possibly was a competition caution we saw there, ladies and gentlemen, to allow all these drivers to form properly and get a nice, safe and even start there. So anyway, we've had a little bit of a jump the gun. It's like we've jumped the gun on the 100-meter sprint at the Olympics there, Paul. So we'll just reset now blocks and go again.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything was caught there on the replay, so not too sure what happened there. I dare say it be to let everyone catch up again, so everyone can start on par without the gaps there.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll reset here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries Round 7. We do thank you, everyone tuning in. We can see you there on Facebook. That is watching us live. So feel free to put your comments and interact with us through the broadcast tonight. We'd like that. Sometimes Paul gets really sick of hearing my voice, so it'd be good to interact with him on other people's opinions and jump in and support your favourite driver. Let us know who you're going for. We'll be sure to bring you a lot of action for all those drivers. So thank you once again. We are under green though, under yellow rather, sorry. Getting that excited. I'm mixing up my colours, but under yellow here at the Daytona International Speedway for round 7 at the Australasian Supercar eSeries. So what we might do under caution here, I believe we're going to go green next time round. We might bring someone up. We've got people muted, but we'll bring them up unaware. But I'm sure this person would love to have a chat. So, Paul, we've just brought him up unaware. Brett Campbell, mate. Sorry, I know you hate this. I know you hate how we bring you up, but it is under caution. I'm sure you don't mind, mate. That start was a bit hairy going. It looks like, was that a competition caution by the league runners to just reset this one and go again?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on, mate. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you. But yeah, it was a bit of a fun start. Damage already, but yeah, we'll just battle on.
So you got caught up in something in that before the start there or early on? I can see the outside of your cars looking a little bit worse for wear down the right-hand side there, so we didn't catch that on the broadcast, or at least I didn't.
Yeah, I sort of checked up because I saw it all happening in front of me, and yeah, all of a sudden I'm getting drilled from behind, so I don't know how bad the back is.
No, that's all right, mate. Go in and you could possibly use your fast repair. I can just see a little bit of scrape. You still got the wing on the back end of it there, so you're looking okay currently, but we don't know. But best of luck anyway. Thanks for making yourself available. You do have that fast repair, so night not over yet, mate.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Yeah, hopefully it's a bit better than last week.
That's all we can look for, and hopefully we're talking to you on the podium at the end, mate, but best of luck.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, don't know. The replay didn't catch what happened there in the back, so it looked like there was a car stopped down on the inside on the yellow line, possibly. So I think maybe that might have brought it out.
Yeah, must have, Paul. We both missed that one. SDK letting us down once again, but SDK is a good product, so let's not bag that at all on social media. But sometimes you can't bring up what you want to bring up, but we heard it. There we go. We went live with someone. We heard it from the horse's mouth as they speak. Brett Campbell there in the 015 car with the mobile livery. So obviously there was a little bit of an incident earlier on in the race.
I don't think we're going. Looking for the 3 up here.
I thought we were actually green because everyone seemed to be taking off,
Yeah,
but we
I'm
still got
looking at
yellow on.
I'm sitting here, Paul, and I'm looking at it going, do I talk? I'm not sure whether we're racing, so it looks like we're racing, but you can see there currently Troy Davidson getting off the gas as you see the flames come out the back, or the side rather, of his ZB Commodore. But I was thinking the exact same thing, Paul. I'm like, are we racing or we're not? But it looks like they're just going around and catching up to that pace car at the moment.
Oh, I wasn't sure if they were trying to throw a spanner in the works on us tonight and run around under caution as a race, but trying to trip up the broadcasters.
Yeah, well, they're definitely doing that at the moment because they're still going quite quick here at the front. Troy Davidson, Reese May, Raymond Yeager. So I believe we could be racing here, Paul. I'm not quite sure. I don't know whether to call it, but the gap that we're seeing at Daytona between Reese May and Raymond Yeager, I don't believe they're racing at all. It looks like that gap is slowly coming back and forward. So we'll just let it play out. We can see Troy there finally backing up the car. So, yeah, they were catching the pace car there. But that was interesting. Something a little bit interesting here on the Indus Esports Network for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. We can say that is definitely a first, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. Not the way we expected the start of this race to go. I thought it would have been a big one a few laps in that might have brought the caution out. But this time round, the pace car lights are off, so we will be going green at lap 6.
Yep, lap 6, we're finally going to see some 2-3 wide action here at the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. But fun fact for you, Paul, before we do go green with Troy Davidson setting the pace and bringing us to the green flag next time round, Daytona International Speedway, mate, what year do you think it was opened? Have a guess. Here's a bit of trivia on the Indus Esports Network.
Oh, I haven't done my homework here, so somewhere in the early maybe 1960s, 1970s, maybe.
Oh, mate, I'll pay credit where credit's due. You're close. It was 1959, so very close. Actually, a capacity of 100,000 people, so the same as the MCG, pretty much, for a motor racing track. So that's amazing. And it was actually built back early in the when it was built to bring the drivers across from the Daytona Beach road course because apparently the builder of that thought it was better viewing, and that's exactly what it's done. And not only is it viewing, it's better racing. So anyway, there's a bit of fun fact trivia of the Indus Esports Network. I wish I had a page that you could jump on and support my trivia, but it's as far as it goes on the broadcast, only because I do a little bit of research. But we're about to go green here for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, round 7 from Daytona International Speedway. Troy Davidson will bring us to the green. It is in his hands, and he goes very early there, Paul. Troy Davidson, we're green for round 7, finally, of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. We're currently 6 laps into 80. Troy Davidson with a great start there, but you'll see the likes of Reese May, Raymond Yeager, Jamie Nankervis, Greg Spencer, and Aaron Dillon. And we can go all the way down the field, slowly draw up on the back of Troy Davidson. This is a drafting track, as we know, Paul. Daytona International Speedway. It's putting yourself in a position for that final stop, mate. So I don't think we're going to see anything a little bit crazy early. As I say that, it looks like Raymond Yeager is just trying to go around the outside for the league, and he's got a big push there by Greg Spencer, and Jamie Nankervis wants to come part of this battle as well. So no, little did I say, it's 100 laps, Paul. We've now already gone 2 wide, and people want to jostle for the lead of this motor race.
Yeah, and that was a good run there from Raymond around that outside. Looks like Greg's getting that same run now, and Ruben, I think, just backing out there. Nope, it must have been another car that looked like Ruben.
It looked
someone
like
was
Ruben.
backing out there, yeah.
I believe that might have been Jackson Callow or Matt Payton, my pick. He's actually in pit lane at the moment, or it could have been Michael Berta. He's now dropped 3.6 seconds off the back of the field. So Michael Berta, who started out at P5's, just dropped right to the back there. So I think he might be playing long game, but currently he's lost the draft for this big lead pack, which is pretty much the whole field. So he's going to be losing about a second lap as we go into lap 8 this time away. But Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager in the Pinnacle Esports ZB Commodores, they're working really well on the inside line. We're now 3 wide here at Daytona. We've got Jamie Nankervis up the inside or outside, and Terry Marwood. Jamie Nankervis and Terry Marwood are teammates. So it's Pinnacle Esports versus Terry Marwood, Jamie Nankervis. Looks like they've got a good run around the outside, and we're 3 wide. And look who's behind there, Paul. There's another Pinnacle Esports car of Nigel Payton trying to get a part of this battle as well. So we're 3 wide here at Daytona International Speedway. And how great is this? We're seeing teamwork at the fore, and we're only lap 8 into 80.
Yeah, but don't rule out, you got ETS Racing there. Jamie Nankervis and Terry Marwood there running in the outside lines, trying to work together. But looks like Terry's just slobbing back in there, in behind Nigel Patton, so he's trying to catch back up to Jamie so they can try and get those cars to the front as well.
Yeah, it looks like it. Nigel Payton is a little bit of the meat in the sandwich at the moment. He's going to want to get down with his teammates there for Pinnacle Esports, Raymond Yeager and Greg Spencer on the inside line there. He's in between those guys you just mentioned, Paul, of Jamie Nankervis and Terry Marwood. So interesting whether those guys on the outside are going to have to work, or going to work together rather. But I believe they have no option at the moment because they can't drop down. You can see Todd Maxfield there on the inside of the third lane. He's not going to allow Nigel to drop down and work with his teammates. So that outside line's just going to have to bear with it currently, 9 laps into 80, and see how this plays out.
And looks like catching up to the... Oh, no.
Boys, we got a big accident. We've got a big accident. Looks like Nigel Payton's got into the side of Dwayne Priest, a Pinnacle Esports car on its roof. Oh, we've got carnage everywhere. Adam Malone's caught up in that one. The Monster Energy car facing in the wrong direction. Michael Shaw going slowly, you can see on the inside there. Ruben Phelps from Dunedin, New Zealand, my teammate, is caught up in that as well. So that's almost half the field, Paul.
Yeah, that was definitely a big one. I think Nigel just got turned there, so we'll just go catch that replay and have a look at that in a bit of slow motion time there.
Yeah, definitely. And while we go back to this replay, and Ryan, I'll be back to you shortly, but it looks like there Nigel Payton just squeezed, I believe that is Dwayne Priest there in the 777. Is that his car? I'm not sure, but he squeezed that car. Nigel Payton's gone for a nice little ride down the inside of the tri-oval here at Daytona. We've got a big crash up into the wall. Reese May into the wall hard. 3, 4, 5 cars into the wall hard. Michael Shaw in the 07 car. Let's see whether he gets involved in this. A lot of cars hard on the brakes. You can see them locking up. There's still incidents happening. Adam Malone, we've got Andy Barber in the Coca-Cola car doing his best 3.5 somersault and a pike down the straight as well. I think Michael Shaw got out of that one, Paul. I was watching him at the back there, so it looks like he's missed out, but a lot of guys will be using those fast repairs early.
Yep. Was there a fast repair? I don't think there was a fast.
No, I don't think there is. Sorry, I'm thinking about another series. My apologies, mate. Getting a little bit excited, but there isn't. So that is going to be really hard for some of those drivers to get some of that damage repaired. So big accident here on lap 9 or 10 of the 80-lap Daytona International Speedway Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries round 7. Mate, Spencer and Yeager did a good job. Looks like they're lining up here to make their way down pit lane. This will be a fuel drop. I don't believe they will take tyres. You can see there they've engaged the speed limiter nice and early. So the Pinnacle Esports cars are in the pits, as well as Dwayne Priest, Jaden Russell. J. Russ, haven't said anything about him tonight. He's ever present there as well. Gary Wellman, Finlay, Justin Witcher, Shannon Wright. The list goes on. Jamie Nankervis and Terry Marwood, though, decided to stay out under this yellow, so they wanted to lead this car race from the front. So they're probably looking for a few little bonus points there, but they haven't done what the rest of the field has done so far here on lap 12.
Yeah, and there's quite a few damaged cars in pit lane there. So Reese May, Aaron Dillon, Andy Barber. So it could be a night over for them, calling it quits early.
Could be. There's currently about 9 or 10 cars in pit lane, so we'll see what happens there as we see Michael Shaw come out of pit lane, followed by a really banged up, I believe that might have been a Pinnacle Esports car. That might have been the car of Nigel Payton, so no rear wing there, and didn't look like he had much of a bonnet. But we currently have Terry Marwood and Jamie Nankervis off the front. Looks like Jamie Nankervis has got a little bit of, what do we call it, a little bit of damage there on the inside of his car. So he's had a little bit of contact somewhere. I do see, though, Paul, Ryan Barber must be a relation to Andy Barber. So, Ryan, if you're still tuning in, I can see people are. Thank you for tuning in and supporting whatever relation Andy is to you, if that is the case. Unfortunately, he's on his lid early, so he wouldn't be happy about that one. But, mate, the accident started towards the back before the restart, he said. So that was before we went caution early, mate. So it must have had some incident under yellow on the roll-up laps, Paul. So we've got a little bit of feedback there on our socials, which is good. But Nankervis and Marwood decided not to pit. They are going to lead us away, Paul. It's been a very interesting start, and I tell you what, 12 laps, but it's been 12 action-packed laps so far.
Yeah, well, I'd say 6 action-packed laps because the first 5 are under caution. So
action-packed. I needed to possibly rephrase that. I mean, action-packed in regards to a lot going on and trying to catch up with what was going on when we think they're racing under yellow, etc. So, hopefully the guys can get a big bit of green flag running here, and we can see the remainder of round 7 go from green to checker. But we'll see how that goes. There's going to be a lot of teamwork. We're only 13 laps in. We've had half to 3/4 of the field dive in and take some fuel. I don't believe they would have taken tyres 13 laps into Daytona. So they're going to be better off in the long run if we do go green here, Paul, for the end of the round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. But there's a lot to play out yet. We know these cars can breed cautions. Cautions breed cautions. This is also the second one of the tonight, already only 13 laps in. So a long way to go.
Yeah, and pace car lights are off once again. So Jamie and Terry, both from ETS Racing, the new liveries they've done up on their cars, looking very nice, very clean there. And they're going to be bringing us 1 and 2 to the start.
Yeah, they look cracking. How good do they look under lights here at Daytona International Speedway? So ETS Racing there, Jamie Nankervis, Terry Marwood will lead us off the front row here for the 3rd time of going after we are 12-13 laps into round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. We have the pace car pulling off into pit lane. Jamie Nankervis bringing it to the green. He's gone really early. Terry Marwood's going to want to drop down. He can't drop down till after start-finish line. So there we go. Jamie Nankervis has jumped early to try and get that jump to allow Terry Marwood to get down behind him. So Terry Marwood sucks right up in behind him. The Pinnacle Esports car there, Greg Spencer, trying to make his way up in behind Terry Marwood as well to get in that draft. But Gary Wellman saying, no, thank you, in the green Sim Boys racing car. I'm going to sit there, but now I'm going to push you to the outside too. So we're now 2 wide, going 3 wide. Greg Spencer now dropping down, taking the lead of the motor race. This is how quick it changes, ladies and gentlemen. Pinnacle Esports car there, Raymond Yeager going, I'm going to help you to there, Greg. Gary Wellman getting left all alone, high and dry on the outside of 4 here at Daytona International Speedway. So it's going to be the Pinnacle Esports cars of Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager bring us across the line here as we have a couple of green flag laps around Daytona International Speedway. Paul, nice little start there. You can see that the individual teams are trying to work with each other there. We do have the Pinnacle Esports and ETS Racing there taking the inside line, and it looks like Shannon Wright's coming to join the party as well there for ETS Racing. So it's now 2 versus 3, but that outside line is also staying nice and firm on the top there. They're giving each other a lot of room down the back straight, not trying to push that side draft. It looks like they've settled in for a little bit of long green flag running, hopefully here, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. It would be good to see a green flag run to a pit stop, and coming up to a lapped car there of the 016, that is Todd Maxfield. So hopefully there's enough room for everyone to get around 3 wide here, and we'll stay green.
Hopefully Todd Maxfield moves up. Looks like he is. That's Todd Maxfield that was actually caught up in that first wreck. I did mistake him for Dwayne Priest. So Dwayne, when you watch this back, I do apologise, mate, sincerely. So Dwayne Priest was the one caught up in that incident. But need to make a shout out where we're on the broadcast too, Paul. I know it's all happening here at the front, but the main man's commented on our socials. Pete Matson, Ray White Rural Gander, major sponsor of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, is tuning in. So thank you for tuning in there, mate. Thank you for being a part of the series. Sorry you can't get out there tonight, but hopefully we will see you there next week. But all happening at the front here, Paul. We currently still have, I believe it looks like we have 16 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Michael Shaw's moved up 12 positions into the 11th position at the moment as he just drops back one, but still a good start by him. Let's just go through some big movers and shakers as the guys try and settle down here and get themselves into a rhythm. 17 laps into 80 at Daytona International Speedway. Currently, Gary Wellman, who's leading the way, is up 10 spots on his starting position, so already up those 10 spots to lead this motor race. Kate Donnelly, similar, up 10 spots after starting 13th, up there in P3, doing a great job as well. Another big mention, Jay Russ, that we haven't mentioned a lot, as I said earlier. Jaden Russell there, Synergy Sim Racing, I believe. He's moved up 16 spots on his 22nd starting position and is in P6. Jackson Callow, after we did see him there in qualifying there, Paul, didn't make that lap, so he started from the back. He's now up 16 spots as he just moves into the top 8 of the race. So nice solid start from him. Michael Berta too, who was caught up, and well, he wasn't caught up. Remember, he dropped low there on the back straight there, Paul, and went right to the back of the field. He's still on the lead lap. He's the last car on the lead lap in 16th, 9 positions up on his starting position. So not a bad choice there or strategy for Michael to just drop back there a little bit, but it looks like he's currently 10 seconds off this gap in front, so it hasn't helped him, but he's still on the lead lap there.
And now Kay Donnelly takes over the lead with Dwayne Priest coming to steal it away from him straight away from that outside line. With Jaden Russell, who's looking a little bit average on the back of his car. I think he sustained that damage early in the first lap caution, but doesn't seem to be affecting his pace at all.
No, generally on the ovals you find these supercars, when the rear wing comes off, it doesn't really affect it too much because it lessens that drag, so you actually are faster in a straight line. The only thing that I did find, and everyone's different of course, is sometimes when you're in a battle pack you can experience a little bit of push because the back end of your car doesn't have that aero forcing it to the ground, so puts a lot of pressure on the front of that car to be able to rotate. But Jaden Russell doing a great job at the moment. They're up 19 spots now, moving into P3, so he's showing a clean set of heels even with all that damage. But also, Paul, I just got to go back to Pete Matson. He's commented again, and he said he got stuck tonight. That's why he couldn't make it, and he said thanks for the shout-out. But Pete, no problem with the shout-out, man. Keep watching. Hopefully you can keep interacting with us through this broadcast. Feel free to keep commenting on the broadcast. Anything you'd like said, obviously, about your amazing business, Ray White Rural Gander. Of course, where they can find you on socials, where they can find you on the web, etc. So do all those comments and help us out so we can bring all the information to the viewers here of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. But Paul, Cade Donnelly still leading the front there. Dwayne Priest creating that second line. Looks like he's in the Petters livery tonight as he just takes the lead on the outside. Jackson Callow's trying to make a move to the front of this motor race after starting off the back. So Jaden Russell's just dropped back a little bit there into P5. That second line's really trying to work on lap 21 of 80.
And Andy Barber just commenting there, so wasn't too happy with the start of how his race took a turn, so it's unfortunate for Andy, but looks like Steve Hoppert as well has decided to park the car for the night as well.
Yeah, very unfortunate for those guys. I know Andy's been doing a lot of racing lately in these type of leagues, and he's actually been doing a really good job. Really good job, brother. So, Andy, mate, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you can watch us to the end of the broadcast and see how all your friends and fellow competitors do get on. But, mate, head up, move to the next one, and that's the pleasure about sim racing. You turn it off and you go again. So, mate, you've been driving well. Keep going. But currently, Dwayne Priest is taking the lead of the motor race. Jackson Callow trying to get that outside run moving there with Cade Donnelly. So, it's changing up at the front. Jackson Callow doesn't look like he's happy sitting there in the group at the moment. It looks like he just wants to get to the front, but from going pretty much dead last up to P2 currently there on the outside, it's been a great job or great drive rather tonight by Jackson, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. Must have. I don't know how many laps Jackson would have turned around in practice if he didn't make a qualifying lap. But they're going.
Oh, we're 3 wide. Sorry, Paul. I saw it exactly as you did. Who was that? Was that Cade Donnelly, I believe, maybe trying to make it 3 wide there? No, it wasn't Cade Donnelly, different car. But they're going 3 wide at Daytona. We've got the Pinnacle Esports ZB Commodores on the outside there of Raymond Yeager and Greg Spencer. It looks like Jackson Callows just moved up into that outside line, saying if you're going on, you're pushing me with you. So that outside line is definitely working hard. Got Adam Malone there, I believe, there in the Monster Energy car. He's doing good after having damage early, trying to help that outside line, but it looks like it's just gone status quo. But Jackson Callows moved to that outside line and goes, I'm going 3 wide racing again. So that car on the middle lane there, Paul, gets caught out to dry a little bit of Todd Maxfield, so he's going to definitely want to get in the train here, but he's not. He's persisting on that middle line. Looks like now Dwayne Priest has made that move for the front. Cade Donnelly in second. Jackson Callows still persistent on that outside line. These 4 guys above on the outside line are keen on working, as we see Dwayne Priest trying to get the best of both worlds and get a little bit of draft. He's gone, no, I'm going outside line. So you're going to see Cade Donnelly now come up the inside and take the lead of this motor race. It's all happening at the front, Paul. 1 lap it's a leader, the next lap it's different. The Pinnacle Esports guys were pushing for the front 2-3 laps ago, and now you see them in the 3rd and 4th position on the outside line, not in the motor race currently. So Jaden Russell still sitting there. Michael Shaw's doing a great job there, just sitting there biding his time on the inside line too there, Paul. So all happening. Let's go back and have a look at as well at Terry Marwood and Jamie Nankervis. They've dropped a little bit back in the standings currently, but still in touch with this lead group. So they're just sitting back there at the moment. Shannon Wright, I believe, is around them as well in the back. So the 3 ETS racing cars, they're doing a great job just sitting there biding their time currently. But mate, 25 into 80, a few surprises early with who's wrecked out and how that all happened. But apart from that, all in all, it's been a nice solid race since we've gone green.
Yeah, and 25 laps in to Daytona, so not sure of the fuel mileage once again, but yeah, don't know, a few guys maybe starting to look to pit probably in the next 10 laps, I guess.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be a 2-stopper. I don't think they'll get 80 laps. Yeah, it could be a 2-stopper, but it definitely is, because we've had drivers go down pit lane about lap 11 or 12. So I reckon they might be able to get to the end on 1 more stop. But we can see that the tyres now are starting to do something, because the cars are starting to move up and down a lot as they go through the middle of the corners. Adam Malone getting stuck on the outside there. We nearly had a big incident there out of 4 with one of the Pinnacle Esports car with someone on the inside. So it's getting very, very interesting at the front here. And for 27 laps into Daytona, we're definitely getting excited early, because we know Daytona's usually the green-white checker or the final 2 or 3 laps, but it's definitely going to keep us busy tonight as we're 27 laps into 80, Paul.
Definitely, but how good is super speedway racing? Like, it always brings out the elbows and lots of fast door-to-door driving. So
Definitely does, and you'll have to give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back tonight, mate. We'll give you a little bit of a time to shine. So you're usually in behind the cameras, and you do make an appearance on the commentary all the time, actually, lately. But when we have other people in the booth as well, you don't mind sitting back having your glass of water while you do the cameras. But a little bit of a shout out, mate. You got the win at Talladega on a super speedway last night.
yeah, I don't know which bag I pulled that one out of, but yeah, managed to steal a win there.
Yeah, you did a great job, mate. Super speedways are always hard to win at, so whatever league you are in, whatever you do, there are so many on the iRacing platform, but some of the leagues we'd like to think we run in when we're not doing our InterSim Esports Network are some of the best Australasian oval leagues that you will see going around. So great job for you to get that position last night, Paul. So you'd be on a high tonight for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. I'll have to put a little bit of a quick one in there. We did work together well, even though we're not teammates, and I got home with a P4. So happy with that. But anyway, not taken away from your win. But the Pinnacle Esports there, cars on the inside line of Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager, really making it work well together with Adam Malone and Dwayne Priest on that outside line. Michael Shaw, there he is. He's there again. But what we've seen, Paul, Michael Shaw's been very solid lately. Loves super speedway or anything 1.5 mile and larger. So we always see him there, but he's had a lot of bad luck in those last 10, 15 laps where it looked like he was going to get a podium finish or at least a top 5 finish. So hopefully that's not a sign of how his season has started so far in the Australasian Supercar eSeries here at Daytona tonight. And hopefully we see him up on the podium or pushing for that top 5.
Yeah, and we've got Reese May commenting there. Disappointed evening as well. Another car that was caught up in the early drama. And Sam Cat, how you going, mate?
Hey Sam, Katakuzanos. I can pronounce your name now, mate. So thanks for tuning into the broadcast. So 25 or 26 tonight, Sam. So hey, mate. And Paul, keep going. Sorry to jump in there. I only just saw that and I heard you say it.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take the easy way out, just Sam Cat. But Katakuzanos, I can say it too, but it's just easier. Sam K.
Well, Sam will be the first to admit, and he'll say it probably on the stream here. It's only taken me 6 months to get it right, so you'd want to think I've got it right by now. But smart option there, Sam K. Let's just run with that. But Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager once again leading this motor race. Adam Malone, he's doing really well after getting caught up in that accident. So he must have really got off lightly, because you do see the likes of Ruben Phelps now 5 laps down, Nigel Payton 5 laps down. Matt Payton still in my pick is 1 lap down in 16th, so he still does have the option. But we've seen a lot of movers and shakers early on in this race. We're 31 laps into 80. We're going halfway in 9 laps. So this is really going to tell us on the pit strategy. But Adam Malone, Jackson Callow, Michael Shaw, Jaden Russell, all up over 10 to 15 spots or above on their starting position. So a lot of movers and shakers early on in this one.
Yeah, definitely. But Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager at the front here, working very nicely together. And Justin Witcher, the championship leader, is trying to make his way through there, sitting in P9 currently. So he's trying to get up onto the back of those guys as well.
Yeah, 100%, Paul. 100%. Sorry, I was just concentrating on something else, trying to get something sorted at my end. My apologies. But yeah, definitely movers and shakers everywhere. It's going well. 15 cars currently on the lead lap, and those 15 cars are in that battle for round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Sam Katakuzanos, or Katakuzanos. See, I told you I'd stuff it up, Sam. You just started serenading me on Facebook, commenting, "Say my name, say my name." So,
say, baby, I love you.
Yeah, see, there
it's
we go.
not sing time.
Well, we definitely know you're better in a virtual race car than you are a singer, Paul. So there we go. We bring something different to you again on the Intersim Esports Network. But Sam, yeah, say my name, say my name. You'll have to get on the broadcast at some point, mate, and give us your best rendition. Most definitely. We'd love that. I'm sure the viewers would too. But let's go back to the motor race at the moment. Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager still there for Pinnacle Esports, and those ZB Commodores leading the way. Adam Malone still holding on to that outside line there, Paul, with Dwayne Priest. As Dwayne, again, as all these drivers do, make me look silly, drops down onto that inside line just in front of Jackson Callow, leaving Adam Malone up there a lot, up there by himself. We do see another Pinnacle Esports car there. It looks like that's Justin Witcher, the current championship leader, trying to make that move down around on the outside line to catch up to Adam Malone, but he's a little bit hung out to dry at the moment. It looks like there's a few gaps there. Adam Malone's probably going to look for a place to drop back in here. This isn't going to be good for his fuel, as we see Justin Witcher drawing up on the back of him at the moment. But the way this race has gone, Paul, unless they have 3 or 4 on that outside line, they're really working for nothing. So 34 into 80, I'd be positioning my car into a place to be able to get through this pit stop, because currently where Adam Malone is, where they pit, it's going to be really hard for him to get down under there. So, but anyway, it's all good for us sitting up here in the commentary booth with our cups of tea and our coffee and our biscuits or whatever we're doing here, and make our opinions. But I definitely think it'd be hot in those cockpits for these drivers currently. when they're going to make this move. We're 34 into 80. Someone's going to pit shortly. And then not only when the pit's going to happen, Paul, are they going to make it in transitioning in and out of pit lane safely? Are they going to have an incident? Are they going to talk to each other and go, I'm going to go high, middle, low? Because it is a very, very fast entry speed at Daytona International Speedway, and it's quite easy to get in the back of someone. So there's a lot for these guys to think about when they're coming to their green flag pit stops.
Yeah, hopefully the comms are all lit up and everyone's on them to make sure no one gets into each other and gives each other plenty of room.
Yeah, hopefully, but still Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager doing a great job at the front there, and it looks like we've got the first cars to blink there into pit lane. So that's currently Terry Marwood, Jamie Nankervis and Matt Payton are in pit lane. So Terry Marwood, Jamie Nankervis trying to do the different to the Pinnacle Esports guys at the front here, and I believe they're going to try and get the undercut on them. So not sure they're going to, with this battle pack being so big. It'd be quite a fast pack at the moment, but let's keep a keen eye here on Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager and see whether they cover off on that move by Jamie Nankervis and Terry Marwood on pitting last lap, and see whether they come in and try and cover that off. Adam Malone still staying on the outside line there, so it doesn't look like he's going to be coming into pit lane this time around, and the same can be said for Jackson Callow, as they're not going to get down there. Dwayne Priest might follow them in. Are they going to cover it off? We're going down into lap 36. No, they're not, Paul. So these are the drivers that pitted earlier. We do remember that Terry Marwood and Jamie Nankervis did not pit 11 laps in under that caution. So there's the difference there, Paul, and we can see why that happened.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that one up, in case you'd forgotten that Jamie and Terry did not pit under caution. They opted to stay out and take the front of the restart. So they managed 35 laps, but there was a few caution laps there as well, so we still don't have a true indication as yet of fuel run, but I dare say probably looking at about 30 laps a tank is what I would be gauging that off.
Yeah, odds strongly suggest that too, early 30s. So we're going to possibly see the likes of Greg Spencer, Adam Malone, Raymond Yeager, all the guys at the front here possibly drop down into pit lane around about the lap 43 mark, I'd suggest, or on. So we are 38 into 80. Great job at the front. But you could see there, Paul, before when I was saying how this race was playing out, you can almost be in my mind and hear what I think, because I have no filter, so I talk as I think. So you could see how I got to the thing of Jamie Nankervis and Terry Marwood actually pitting earlier there. I had forgotten that, so thank you for trying to cover me, but I remembered it at the end. But Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager, Adam Malone, Dwayne Priest and Jackson Callow leading the way at round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here at Daytona International Speedway. Sam Katakouzanos again has commented, Paul, on the stream. So while these guys are racing, we'll still interact, obviously, with the viewers, and thank you for tuning in. Obviously, you can get us, if you are watching on Facebook, you can also get this stream now or later across on our YouTube channel or Twitch on Into Sim Esports Network. But Sam, you say my voice when singing is automatically auto-tuned in my own head. Don't know why it don't work in your head. Ha. So, mate, well, Paul had his chance at singing in the broadcast before, and I said that he was a better race car driver than he is singer. So, mate, you can't go much worse. I'm sorry, Paul, I threw you under the bus there. But you're always welcome to sing on the Intersim Esports Network, mate. We always need someone to do the national anthem at the start of the broadcast, which could be there could be your new career, mate. So thanks for that. And Brett Campbell, mate, disappointed to be cleaned up at the start, you say, with the innocent victim of the second incident wrecked out again with a car with no speed. So Brett, unfortunate, mate. Thanks for making yourself available on the broadcast. And well, you're under caution there early, but as we said to Andy earlier, who commented on the broadcast as well, head up and fight for next one. That's a pleasure about iRacing, mate. So we will see you next week. Obviously, keep tuning in and comment away if you'd like to. But Paul, Spencer and Yeager doing a great job at the front here. Justin Witcher really trying hard to get to him as well. None of these cars look really clean at the moment, except Greg Spencer. Oh! Looks like Raymond Yeager has got into the back of Greg Spencer there and put him underneath the yellow line. There's nothing Greg can do here, but it's not for anyone to let him up. So no one's letting him up at the moment back onto that racing line. So I don't know what's happened here. He's slowing right down.
Yeah, I think he might just be trying to save the tyre around that corner there, being stuck down low. He didn't want to burn those tyres off, possibly. But I was about to comment how well that Raymond and Greg were running, as Raymond was really tucked in on the back bumper of Greg. But yeah, I think that was only a matter of time, as you can't really bump draft, so to speak, too well with these cars without causing someone to get loose. But we've now had several cars jump to pit lane, so Dwayne Priest, Kate Donnelly, Gary Wellman, Christopher Finlay, Jaden Russell, Jackson Callow, all in pit lane now.
Yeah, Todd Maxwell's gone down pit lane as well. Nigel Payton's also down pit lane. A few guys blinking now. So I did say lap 42. They've come a lap earlier at 40. Sorry, I said lap 43. They've come a lap earlier at 42. So I'm sure the Adam Malone's, Raymond Yeager's, Justin Witcher, who's finally got into the back there of Raymond Yeager, who wanted to from the Pinnacle Esports team. Michael Shaw there, solid in fourth. He's still there. Troy Davidson up into fifth. They're going to be blinking. And as I say that, here we go. The two Pinnacle Esports boys of Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher, the current championship leader, making them way down pit lane. And this will be their final stop, I'd suggest. They'll get close to getting to the end from what we've seen. It'll be very close. They actually might not be able to make it because I believe they last pitted before then on lap 11 or 12. So it looks like they're getting about 29 laps out of a tank to 30. So, Paul, not sure if they're going to make it to the end, but Adam Malone still staying out at the front there. Michael Shaw making a run for the lead of this motor race. So, mate, these guys are going to blink shortly. Shannon Wright stayed out as opposed to his teammates who did go a lap down early, as it looks like Adam Malone's blinked there. Shannon Wright's following him into pit lane. Michael Shaw and Troy Davidson still obviously doing well on fuel as they're going for another lap now. So, interesting to see how this all plays out once everyone does their green flag pit stops.
And Justin Witcher's first out of the pit, I believe, so don't think Justin's gone a lap down. I'm not too sure if the timing's caught up or not, but looks like from sixth spot backwards has gone a lap down, possibly. Not too sure.
Yeah, they've gone a lap down because Michael Shaw, Troy Davidson stayed out. Adam Malone and them are still, Adam Malone and Shannon Wright, sorry, are still showing in pit lane. Justin Witcher's just gone back up onto the lead lap in P5 here. So what we're seeing here is all these green flag pit stops starting to play out. Justin Witcher now moves to P3. Shannon Wright, Adam Malone are making their way out of pit lane at the moment on live timing as well. So it's all playing out right in front of us. Michael Shaw takes the lead of this motor race, currently has a 0.8 second lead to Troy Davidson. So they're making a really long run here on this green flag fuel drop, but it's going to help them at the end because they're not going to have a problem with fuel, but not sure what they're going to lose here if there is a battle pack in a draft to try and catch them. So when are they going to blink, Paul? Next couple of laps, I'd suggest. They've currently got 47.7 seconds on Justin Witcher, who is in third position. Justin doesn't have a draft currently where he is positioned on track, so that would have helped them. But we do see Michael Shaw blink and come down pit lane. So Troy Davidson's going to do another lap out there on his own. Is this going to hurt him? He's hemorrhaging time now to Justin Witcher behind him. So we will see how this plays out. So Michael Shaw still in pit lane. Troy Davidson leading this motor race. Justin Witcher in third position. I believe once Troy Davidson comes through pit lane, all these cars a lap down will come back onto the lead of this race, Paul.
I'm actually really surprised at Justin Witcher's pit stop there. Look at the gap that Justin has to the pack behind him.
6.8 seconds, I think.
That. So he had an absolute ripper pit stop because he pitted with Raymond Yeager, who's back in P9 at the moment. So don't know what he did in pit lane, but he was in and out and was gone.
Yeah, he's actually, if we have a look at the time it took him to transition, it was 22.18 seconds as opposed to Dwayne Priest, Cade Donnelly and Jackson Callow, which were those 31, 32-second marks. So it looks like he definitely would have taken fuel. He hasn't taken any damage repair, as you can see on the right front of that ZB Commodore. He may not have taken tyres. Being Daytona, you generally don't, but I haven't done a lot of laps in these supercars around an oval for quite a long time because I've been up in the broadcast booth with yourself. But that could have possibly been the answer to that 10 to 12 seconds difference on the pit stop there, Paul. But he still would have had to take a lot of fuel, so he would have been stationary for a decent amount of time. So
I do have a theory on this, though, because
I love your theories. You're usually right too, mate.
When we did do a bit of this back in the day, Justin was one of the cheeky ones that would do his short fuel early to get a huge run and then take his full tank at the end. So I'm just wondering if he took a less fuel on board for this run, knowing that he's going to have to pit again, to bring a full tank to the home stretch, whereas everyone else may have done a full tank fill, and that's why he's got such a big jump.
And mate, that's why we pay you the big bucks here on the Indosim Esports Network. So Paul Jackson bringing you all the down low here on the Indosim Esports Network for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. You've hit the nail on the head there, mate. I now going back to when we used to run this and didn't talk about it all the time. I believe you're 100%. We did see some drivers, or majority of the drivers, come in early after that 11th or 12th lap caution where they would have got that fuel drop to be able to probably eliminate that a little bit. So it looks like here it's definitely going to be a two-stopper with like a 12 to 14 lap gap there between being able to do it under green. So I believe you're right there, Paul. He's come in, he's taken his short fill and he's going, but if you are right, and it's what we think here, he's going to be stationary for those extra 10 or 12 seconds on the rest of the field. So we'll have to monitor that gap currently between Justin Witcher in first and Dwayne Priest in second. It's not looking good for Justin at the moment with this battle pack working really well together and really dragging that gap between Justin Witcher and Dwayne Priest is now down to under 5 seconds, going really quickly towards the low fours and early threes. So not looking good for Justin at the moment, but getting caught up with this group if we do go green for the end, Paul.
Yeah, yep, and it's definitely going to benefit some of these guys a little bit further back in this pack, I think, if they can save that little bit of fuel, as we saw Shorey and Troy Davidson managing to run a few extra laps. So the ones that are sitting further back in this pack, you've got Raymond back there, Adam Malone, Greg Spencer, Jaden Russell. I think they'll be just sitting there conserving that little bit of fuel, get in and out of pits a little bit quicker, and I think they'll be sitting pretty towards the end of the race.
They will be sitting pretty. Currently, if we go back and focus, Mike, on Michael Shaw for a second, you did mention him there. He's currently 8 seconds behind that leading group with Troy Davidson bringing up the back end of that. What's put Michael in this position so far, and he'd be sitting there having a very lonely race and going, I need to get a draft. What's put him in that position is when he went through pit lane there under green flag conditions, he did his pit stop in 35.67, as opposed to majority of the guys there in second, third, fourth, fifth, where he was in relative in that position, are down in the 31, 32 second mark. So he's lost at least 3 seconds going through pit lane there, which definitely didn't help him to be able to tag on the back of this draft of this lead group. It's now opened up to nearly 8 seconds for Michael Shaw. So he's going to have to do something special through the final pit stop if he wants to be a player in this one, if it does go green to the end. But Paul, what we'll do, mate, sorry to cut you off there. I know you're busy on the cameras in the background. What we'll do, we'll go on board with the current championship leader and the leader of round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here from Daytona International Speedway. None other but the 21 Pinnacle Esports ZB Commodore Justin Witcher, in behind Ruben Phelps in the 06 from New Zealand in the ZB Commodore. Also, even though it does not resemble a ZB Commodore at the moment, let's go on board for a couple of laps with Justin Witcher. Turn up the noise, ladies and gentlemen, and listen to these supercars roar around Daytona International Speedway.
Caution's out. Caution's out. Be ready with, there you go. Be ready with that brake clean and stuff, guys. Here forward.
And while we're on board with Justin, we now have a caution come out. So the yellow flag has been waved.
Oh, the caution's out. Sorry, Paul, I wasn't watching that. I was having a little bit of a breather because you know that I can talk until the sun comes up. So we are under caution, as you just said, Paul, for round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. We're under caution for the third time of the night, 54 laps into 80. This is going to work out very well for a lot of the field. I believe if they top up some fuel here, majority of them possibly could get to the end, considering what they've currently got on board. So I'm sure we possibly might see a lot of cars come down pit lane this time around, Paul.
Definitely, but we'll just flip back and we'll just have a look at what brought this caution out. That's not gonna catch it. Let's go back to here.
All right, so looks like there's another Pinnacle Esports car in the wall. The Sim Boys car, the 104 of Christopher Finlay. We've got a car on its roof down the back straight of Daytona International Speedway. The second time we've seen this tonight. Big ride there for the car on the inside. Another big accident. We've been waiting for the big one at Daytona International Speedway, Paul, and hasn't disappointed. We've had 2 of the night. That's the ETS racing car of Jamie Nankervis, doing a great barrel roll down the back straight of Daytona International Speedway.
Lucky he's got a roll cage in that car.
Yeah, he's if he was in the real world, his bell would be ringing right now. So no fast repair. So that's definitely very close to being night done there for Jamie Nankervis, who, in all honesty, has had a really tough run in the first half of this Australasian Supercar eSeries. He hasn't really had a solid result there as such this year. He has shown a lot of pace, so I'm sure he'll be disappointed on that one tonight, as well as other people that were involved in that wreck. But as I saw mentioned there earlier, Paul, they're all in pit lane, ready to fuel up to the end.
And have a look at this, Troy Davidson straight out into P1 over Justin Witcher. So Justin Witcher is dropping right back in the field here, as I said, to P8. So it did help him with the yellow flag pit stop there to save a bit of time in pits, but we did see him drop back a few spots.
Yeah, we did, and that was that stationary time. So his pit lane time there, or his pit stop time rather, was 22.6 seconds, as opposed to Troy Davidson we see from Sim Boys Racing at the top there. His pit time was 8.47. So the next best behind him was actually Shannon Wright in P6, which was 13.3 seconds through his pit stall. So big difference there for Troy Davidson to be able to take the lead of this motor race, but I believe it's evened itself out now. We're 55 laps into 80 at Daytona International Speedway. I believe they're all on the same playing field now. Majority of these guys will be able to get to the end. I believe there is only now 14 cars on the lead lap. Greg Spencer's now gone a lap down as well, so not good for him. Michael Berta is now 3 laps down, so he's been caught up in that incident, I believe, as well. Jamie Nankervis. There's only 2 guys currently in pit lane. Looks like Greg Spencer was involved in that, so he's currently still in pit lane, as well as Nigel Payton. So the 2 Pinnacle Esports team mates there in pit lane, serving a lot of damage. But if we go to their teammates, Raymond Yeager still with a nice solid position there, up in P3 there, Paul. Started P3, currently P3, so 56 into 80, he'd be happy with a nice solid result there currently. We did see him on the podium last week, so hopefully we can have him back up in the booth with a solid night tonight. But this is Daytona International Speedway's teammate there, and the current championship leader, Justin Witcher. We've got the chair ready for him, Paul. We did say that 2 weeks ago, and he did it again last week and come up with a win. So we've got the chair ready for him again tonight to be on that podium. Be interesting to see whether Justin can go 3 podiums from the last 3 starts.
Definitely, but if there's anyone that's on the grid there that will be having something to say about it, it's these Sim Boys cars at the front here with Troy Davidson, Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman. So they'll be looking to do everything they can to try and slow these Pinnacle Esports cars of Raymond Yeager and Justin Witch are down, so Christopher Finlay in the background there in P11 can come up and try and grab some championship points back off Justin.
And nor should we be surprised there, Paul. This Sim Boys racing outfit, we've mentioned it on our previous broadcast of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. They're always good in these cars on ovals, so no surprise to see those cars currently nearly filling out the first two rows as we are about to go green. So their teammate will want to work with them from the back, but we're green again once again. Troy Davidson takes the green flag here at Daytona International Speedway for round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. I can't see the laps at the moment, but I believe we're around about 55 laps into 80 here at Daytona International Speedway. Troy Davidson's got the nice jump there on Raymond Yeager, who slots down in second position. Here's the meat and the sandwich of the other two Sim Boys teammates of Troy Davidson, Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman working there. They're going to want to try and get around Raymond a little bit here. As you can see, Cade Donnelly trying to make that second line work, really using that side draft. He doesn't have his teammate Gary Wellman sort of coming with him at the moment, so he's going to get hold up a little bit of drive, but he's holding tough there on the outside, Paul, really making this work. Gary Wellman coming. Shannon Wright's coming on the outside too there in the ETS racing car. We are now a battle pack of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Michael Shaw there. Michael Shaw's moved his way up into 11th position as well. So he's there, ready to pounce, ready to go with 22 laps to go here in the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Of course, everybody tuning in on the IndySim Esports Network, thank you on all our socials. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. We see people tuning in on the broadcast currently. Please send us some messages. Have a chat with us. We've got 22 laps to go here at the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Troy Davidson still leading. Out the front there, we've got 3 wide racing, and look who's back there in 4th, Paul. We haven't spoken to him for the last half of this race. Jackson Callow has moved that car back up to the front of this motor race. ETS Racing, Shannon Wright just sitting on the outside. Jackson Callow, as we saw earlier in the race as well, not happy to sit there in the pack. He wants to really move that car forward, and we see that now as he's following Cade Donnelly on that outside line. We still have Raymond Yeager just sitting tight there in P2 behind Troy Davidson. So from what we can see, Paul, and correct me if I'm wrong, the guys are not happy to sit in a pack, or at least a couple of them. They want to push right to the front and lead this race.
Yeah, and if they're at the front, then you'd think they're drama-free if any cautions do come out. So they definitely want to be at the front, but at what cost of getting to the front is the question there.
Yeah, and what we're going to see, Paul, as this race sort of progresses now, as we're going to go 20 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway, what we're going to see is these cars really produce some good 2 and 3 wide racing, as opposed to the regular cars that run around this track as they are NASCARs, and of course the Daytona 500 is held here every year. So they're a little bit of a different beast to drive around an oval, and you can do those 2 to 3 different lanes through the iRacing network at the moment. We did see with the NASCAR aero changes that sometimes on super speedways it really was a struggle unless you had a big train to get that outside line to work, let alone 3. So we're going to definitely see that as we go into the back end of the race. These guys are sitting there. We've got 20 laps to go. No one, I believe, is going to do anything silly at the moment. But I've probably just put the commentator's curse on them. But we're going to see 3 wide action shortly, I'd suggest.
I'll have to jump in here because Josh Micklemore's got his popcorn ready. He's ready for the big one.
Hey, Micklemore, Josh, how are you, mate? Thanks for tuning in. Get your popcorn ready, mate. Just send some up to me because I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the last 19 laps here. Mate, if you are available and you are still tuning in to sometime, maybe jump on and have a run at this, mate. I know you'd have an absolute ball. So it is some fun racing if you are available on a Sunday night. But, mate, Davidson still leading at the front there. Raymond Yeager, Cade Donnelly, all the usual suspects. Jackson Callow still trying to sit up there in that high line behind Gary Wellman. Gary Wellman's probably going to want to drop down soon and try and work with his Simboy teammates, but by the looks of it, there's no team orders at the moment. They are just running to win this motor race. So nice pack of around about 14 cars there in this front group. Michael Shaw still sitting back there in P12. Loves his super speedways. Is he going to get a bit of luck tonight and possibly get that top 10 or top 5 finish? He's just sitting back there waiting to pounce at the moment. Also have Justin Witcher back there as well, the current leader of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, sitting there in P10, 5 or 6 back, 5 back rather, on that inside line. So we can't write him off. Shannon Wright having a great night there in P7. Jay Russ, the J. Ross Synergy Sim Racing, I believe, is there in 8th as well. So after Jaden having a bit of pretty damaged car rather earlier in this race, Paul doing a great job there fighting for the minors currently.
Yeah, definitely. And we just ticked over to lap 63. So still 17 to go. And as we said, can be anyone's race here for the win currently, so we will see who's going to take this one out for round 7.
Yeah, it's a game of chess at the moment, Paul. They're just positioning their cars. You can see Raymond pushing really hard there on the back of Troy Davidson down the back straight at Daytona, so he's working really hard to push Troy Davidson to the front of this one. A lot to play out here though, Paul. I believe then Josh Mickelmore might be right. He's here for the big one. I believe he may be granted his wish, so get your popcorn ready. It is a 14 car trail at the moment here for the win of this motor race, 64 into 80. Long way to go. Game of chess, position their car in a good spot, but don't ride off anyone down the back of this one. They're just sitting here, 16 to go. They'll make their move. We're going to see in the next 10 or so laps, people start to push a little bit harder to just try and get their car at the right place at the right time to be able to make that move with 1 to 2 to go, Paul.
Definitely, and Jackson Callow with a big bump push there on the back of Kay Donnelly's bumper. So again, he dropped back a little bit. He was sitting on the back of Cade. He dropped back just to get a little bit of air, and he's come back onto the back of Cade there. But yeah, in the next sort of 5-10 laps, I think we'll be running 3 wide once again for that top spot.
Yep, I think you've hit the nail on the head. We definitely will be 3 wide. They're being very gentlemanlike at the moment, just sitting there 2 wide, just feeling each other's pace out, where they're going to be, where's strong, where's weak. I know it's Daytona, but and you think they're flat out, and the majority they are, but it takes a lot of concentration. You can't do a lot of bump drafting, especially if you're third in line. You need to give them a little bit of gap. So takes a lot of concentration, and boy, I hear in my ears, I believe something may have happened or close to it happened, because Paul was sending out a howl like nothing tomorrow. Must have been an accident or very close to at the back there, Paul.
No, I was just watching Raymond there in P2, was looking to make it 3 wide there, as he was trying to get up into Cade's door there to run around Troy, but he just slotted back in there, so playing it sensible.
Yeah, he has been pushing Troy very hard at the front there, trying to get this move. As Jackson Callow nearly gets into the back of Cade Donnelly there on the outside line. Shannon Wright doing a great job there in the outside of the third on the outside line there as well. So yeah, Raymond's trying really hard to push Troy Davidson to the front here. Really, really, really pushing. So they need to be careful. We've got 14 laps, 15 laps. I can't see if that's a 6 or a 5. I believe it's 14. So 14 laps to go here for round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Raymond Yeager currently pushing Troy Davidson there at the front of this motor race. Cade Donnelly making a good run on the outside. Jackson Callow sitting there in tow, as he's done, Paul, for the last 7 or 8 laps, right there behind Cade Donnelly on that outside line. Shannon Wright following them along as well. Also Gary Wellman in the Green Sim Boys racing car as well. 3 Sim Boys cars currently in the top 5, making his move on the inside line. And he's going to tag up on the back of Raymond Yeager here, 67 laps into 80 rather.
Yeah, and we saw earlier with Raymond running that close when he had Greg in front of him, and we saw he just rubbed the back bumper of Greg Spencer a little bit the wrong way, which caused Greg to run off the track. So Raymond will want to be careful here that he doesn't do the same thing to Troy and upset him.
Yeah, he has to be very careful. But what I'm interested to see what's going to play out. I know we've only got 12 laps to go, and we're probably expecting another big one, Paul. But what I'm interested to see play out is Raymond Yeager. So Pinnacle Esports, ZB Commodore, done a great job all night. Started P3, currently P2. He's sitting in there behind Troy Davidson. The way that we've seen this race pan out so far, as Raymond pushes really hard down the back straight there, is that outside line is just staying fast on the outside or staying steady. Raymond's really got nowhere to go if he wants to make the move to try and beat Troy Davidson. So if we do go green to the end, as we'll go 11 laps to go next time across the strike, where he's going to be able to make that move or position the car, because at the moment he's boxed in and it doesn't look like that outside line is going to go anywhere. They're going to sit there. So it's definitely probably going to have to be out of 4. But remember, he can't pass under the yellow line. So he's really restricted at the moment to his options. So I'm sure inside his helmet at the moment, or sitting there racing, he'll be going through all those strategies in his head and going, how am I going to get this Pinnacle Esports ZB Commodore to win to victory lane? But that outside line, definitely don't write those ones off as well. Doing a great job working together, the two definitive lines at the moment. Not really losing much pace on each other. It looks like Gary Wellman there in the Simboys car on the inside of the low line there, on the inside line in third place. As we nearly have 2 cars get into each other, as it looks like Dwayne Priest is trying to go up high in front of Shannon Wright, and he goes, no, I'm going high line, Shannon. You can stay up there and I'm going to leave you out to dry. So Shannon's going to be really struggling here on the third lane. He's going to get caught up quickly. It looks like we've got Michael Shaw. Oh, he has hit the wall, and it looked like Michael Shaw was trying to come up and help him as well. So Michael's going to want to drop down into that second line, I'd suggest, pretty quickly, because he's got to realise Shannon's hit the wall, but it doesn't look like he's lost much pace. So 10 laps to go, Paul, in the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here at Daytona International Speedway from Daytona Beach, Florida. Mate, it is not disappointing. Round 7 of 12, nothing short of what I expected tonight.
10 to go, and they were trying to make it 3 wide already, so they jumped the gun on that one, I think, a little bit early, but everyone settled back in once again to 2 lines. But what Raymond really needs to do here is he's got that big push on the back of Troy Davidson. If he can just push that little bit more, get in front of Cade Donnelly and pop out in front of Cade, but that leaves the door open for Cade to drop back in and then have Troy, Cade and Gary on the inside line. So he's got to be careful on making his move here to try and pop out as well, to try and get around Troy.
Yeah, he does, mate. It's all going to be dependent, I believe, on Cade's mindset. So if Raymond does get that run, he's going to want to jump up in front of Cade. And like you said, that's going to then either do one or 2 things, I believe. Cade's going to be able to go, I'm smarter than you, Raymond. I'm going to drop straight down in behind my teammate Cade Donnelly, and that'll push them to first and second in the motor race. Or what could also happen if Cade does stay up there, oh, that was a big push to the lead of the motor race. So that changes everything of what I was just saying. So Jackson Callow gave Cade a big push to take the lead over Troy Davidson there. We've got a lap car there, Pinnacle Esports car currently, that will go high into 4. So that was a big push for the lead. I was just trying to strategize on what was going to happen there, and then we've just seen a change at the front of the motor race. So we're 72 into 80. A lot's to happen now. Jackson Callow is making a big push for the lead at the moment. Dwayne Priest saying, thank you, Jackson, I'm following you. We're about to go 2-3 wide at Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, and as we thought, how it'll play out is certainly not how it's going to play out now for these guys, as Cade's moved to the front and Jackson's trying to get his way around the outside onto P1 with Dwayne Priest and Adam Malone, Shannon Wright, Justin Witcher there trying to get in the middle of the 2 lanes as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a big one here, Paul. These guys are definitely not leaving anything on the table. Justin Witcher definitely trying to make that middle lane work. He's trying desperately to drag himself and I believe, who's around Justin Witcher? I believe that was his teammate. He must be a lap down. So Matt's going to be working well with Justin, but Matt's not going to get involved in this motor race, I'd suppose, as we go 6 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway. But, mate, as we do have 6 laps to go, we're now lap 74 into 80. it's our time again. Quick shout out. We have seen him on the broadcast, naming right sponsor of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. He has communicated with us through the broadcast, so thank you so much, Pete Matson, Ray White, Rural Gayndah. Anyone want property, whether that be buying, selling, rentals, anything up through the Gayndah region, be sure to jump on Ray White, Rural Gayndah on Facebook, all your socials, or even Google them and get on their website and support those businesses that support the iRacing community. Also, Witcher Electrics, Justin Witcher, who's currently in 8th and the leader of the championship, sponsoring this series as well. As we will get through these sponsors really quickly as it's about to heat up the front here. 75 laps into 80. Also AP Esports, but it looks like Raymond Yeager has just taken the lead of this motor race with 5 laps to go. Jackson Callow goes, no, I'm making a move. Now we have Cade Donnelly pushing on the outside as well. Adam Malone's back in this motor race as well on the outside row in that, and now he's going, I'm making it 3 wide. Justin Witcher pushing him hard there on the outside. We have 3 lanes here at Daytona International Speedway. Doesn't look like that third row really got running, as we're going to see a big incident. Simboy's car there, right, just turned right into the side of Jackson Callow. Not sure who that was. I believe that might have been Christopher Finlay. Oh, big accident. Justin Witcher involved in that one. A lot of big players involved in that one, Paul. And tell you what, Josh Mickelmore, if you are still tuned in, you called that one, mate. There's the third big one of the night. Adam Malone, the innocent victim of that one. Also, very unfortunate there for the 046 car of Jackson Callow. You see Justin Witcher having a hard lick on the outside wall as well. The Simboy's car going backwards down the oval at the moment. He's going to come across the field. Let's see if he makes contact again with Justin. No, he doesn't. So, mate, the big one at Daytona International Speedway, by the time we go green again, this is possibly going to be a green-white checker.
Yeah, 5 laps, I'd say that would roll over to a green-white checker there, if we're right.
Yeah, and I believe in this one there's only one green-white checker. We did do the post-race stuff previously, and it did, I believe, when you went through that one, Paul, it was one green-white checker. So they'll get one go at it. The first bringer caution will be the first across the strike who will win this one for round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. But we are 76 into 80, rather. Just gone 77. It looks like we'll probably have 2 more laps under the pace car, so I believe it will be a green-white checker. No one's deciding to pit. Raymond Yeager currently leading this motor race. Troy Davidson, who's been fighting him for the lead of the race predominantly since we went probably across the 40-lap mark, currently there in P2. Dwayne Priest, Gary Wellman in 3 and 4. Jaden Russell, Michael Shaw rounding out your top 6. So 77 into 80. Sam Katakuzanos, thanks for the comment again. That was a big one, mate. Oh boy, my God. Yes, it was a big one. Third one of the night. Currently only 12 people still on the lead lap. Andy Barber, good to see you tuning in, mate, after an unfortunate night tonight going for your friend Adam Malone. So we'll keep an eye out for him, but unfortunately he was involved in that last incident, but he is still there. He's currently in P7, so we'll see what his car is like after that incident. So Margaret Shannon, definitely one of the stranger races I've seen. Yes, Margaret, thank you for tuning in. It has been different. This is what these cars bring to the oval circuits. Usually there's not as many cautions, but this is super speedway racing in Daytona. So running at 300 kilometers an hour, a millimeter apart, 2 or 3 wide, takes a lot of concentration over an hour and a half. So that's probably why we're seeing this at Daytona. But I tell you what, keep tuning in, Margaret, because we've got 5 more rounds of this. We've already done 6, so thank you for tuning in. Paul, you're back, I believe. I can hear you in the background. 77 of 80. I've just been sitting here talking to our viewers as we're under caution. Mate, good viewing tonight too. We currently have a lot of people live, so really appreciated by everyone tuning in, watching the Indesim Esports Network bring to you the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. So good that people are tuning in, listening to our dulcet tones. But Raymond Yeager leading us away on this one next time round as they're about to form up 2 wide. We will go green with 79 laps to go. So it's going to be a green-white checker, I believe. It hasn't come up yet, but we'll wait and see. So, Paul, let's just sorry to cut you off, mate. Let's just go back and just revisit as they're going to go green next time across the strike. Let's revisit our picks. So my pick was Matt Payton. Let's see where he is currently. He is currently in P12 on the last car on the lead lap. Who was your pick, mate, and how's he going in the race?
Well, I did put it down to Raymond and Justin, and Raymond's currently in P1. So unfortunately, Justin was just taken out in that last caution there. But Raymond's sitting pretty strong in there, and we've got Tristan Koch tuning in as well, who's got Raymond Yeager by a nose for the win, and Andy Barber.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Andy Barber, yeah, he's saying Malone. So we've got Koch and Malone. Koch and Barber going for Yeager and Malone respectively. So we've got a bit of interaction on our socials, which is good. You know who the viewers are going for. But sorry to cut you off there, Paul, too. It's a little bit hard sometimes when we have bits of delay. But Raymond Yeager will bring us to the green for round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Sorry, that was just air from talking too quick. My apologies. There we go. Another first on the Intersim Esports Network. But Raymond Yeager brings us to the green as Troy Davidson's on the outside there. Not sure if this is green-white checker ball. I didn't see that come up in front, or whether we're just 2 laps to go, but it will be 2 laps to go here on the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Raymond Yeager leading the way through 1 and 2. Troy Davidson, Michael Shaw creating that 3rd lane, really trying to make that work. Looks like the Pinnacle Esports cars trying to come up into that 3rd lane as well and help Michael Shaw to the lead of this motor race. Shannon Wright there. It looks like, oh, sure, he's in the fence. He's got a big push, but he's going to settle right in behind. It looks like Christopher Finlay there with a big run up the inside. I just know that livery of that car. The Sim Boys cars are going to work very, very hard on this outside line. We've got Dwayne Priest there as well on the outside line. Shannon Wright moving the ETS racing car up into the inside line. Does he have enough to catch up? It looks like Troy Davidson's covering that off. As we go into the final lap, lap 80 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here from Daytona International Speedway, Raymond Yeager does still lead the way. Troy Davidson pushing hard. Christopher Finlay with a big move on the outside in the yellow Sim Boys car. Have a look at this one, Paul. Jaden Russell coming around the outside as well. And we're going to go 3 wide down the back straight on the final lap here at Daytona. Christopher Finlay, not a great run out of 2. Jaden Russell pushing very hard. Jaden's going to want to create that line. He's trying on the outside.
4 wide.
Finlay, we are 4 wide here at Daytona. Raymond Yeager up the inside. Is he going to be able to hold this as we come across the strike? Christopher Finlay trying to get that move on the outside. Shannon Wright up into the wall. We are going to finish round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Who's going to be the leader? Big crash in the background. Raymond Yeager comes through the tri-oval. Gary Wellman on the outside, and Raymond Yeager. No, Gary Wellman has got him on the line. Gary Wellman by 0.00 of a second. Nearly a dead heat on Raymond Yeager, followed by Troy Davidson for round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here at Daytona International Speedway. What a finish that was, Paul.
Definitely. I think we've got to go back and watch that finish there.
Yep, let's go back and watch that one, because that's definitely worth reliving here. So it looks like there, if we watch Gary Wellman having a great side draft out of that final corner. Shannon Wright caught up in the background there. I believe that is, not sure who else that is, possibly Dwayne Priest or someone. Pinnacle Esports car there caught up. Looks like that was Witcher, possibly. But anyway, we'll go through to the final. So Raymond Yeager looks pretty solid on the inside here. Troy Davidson pushing him really hard. Christopher Finlay getting the run. It looked like there that, yeah, it was just that little tri-oval as they came across the line that was really the player in that one. It looked like right up until the line that Raymond had that one.
Yeah, definitely. That was a huge run from Christopher Finlay out of nowhere. And also Jaden Russell there. But 4 wide in the last corner there. That was crazy.
Yeah, it definitely was crazy. What a race. We will move on shortly, Paul, to the podium getters. We don't currently have them all up into the Discord at the moment, so we will have to wait for them to jump up to be able to bring this to you. But we'll just quickly go across the race results tonight, Paul. We saw Gary Wellman win the race tonight there. 0.002 of a second was actually the final margin between your second place skater, Raymond Yeager, there for Pinnacle Esports. Troy Davidson rounded out your podium there, 0.065 behind with Christopher Finlay. Solid job, 0.085 behind. So great job there. Terry Marwood, a great recovery after being at the lead early. Up there in P5, Michael Shaw, nice solid result. I'm sure he'll be happy with that one in P6. Shannon Wright, who got caught up in the last lap incident there, P7. Matt Payton with a nice recovery after being down the field early there in P8. Dwayne Priest in P9. Rounding out your top 10 was Jaden Russell for Synergy Sim Racing, Paul.
Yeah, we'll just scroll through the page there as well. So, Kay Donnelly in P11, Adam Malone, Michael Berta finishing 3 laps down in P13 for his debut race. Ruben Phelps in P14, Justin Witcher unfortunately having a unfortunate end to his race, finishing in P15. Jackson Callow, Greg Spencer, Todd Maxfield, Jamie Nankervis and Nigel Padden rounding out the top 20 there. Brett Campbell, Steve Hoppert, Derek Jacobs, Reese May, Aaron Dillon and Andy Barber in P26.
Solid field of drivers again here, Paul, for round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries at Daytona International Speedway. The first 6 rounds didn't disappoint, and once again, it didn't. It was a bit of a stop-start affair at the start, but the boys got their stuff together, and it created some sensational racing. So just currently looking at the drivers up in the booth, we're still waiting on one to come, but we'll get on with these post-race formalities here on the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Coming in P3 tonight for round 7 at Daytona International Speedway, Troy Davidson. Mate, you and Ruben at the front there for that race. Spent a lot of time at the front, but a nice solid P3 there for you. I'm sure you wanted to get past Raymond at the end, but I'm sure you're happy with a P3 and the second time in the booth having a chat with us in as many weeks.
Yeah, cheers, fellas. It's a very enjoyable race. It's always strategic in how you play it out, and I sort of had a real good. I was going to make it on fuel to the end. I sort of just really took it easy early in the race, and then that caution come out and had to change strategy, and but unreal race to the line there. It's always great fun.
And just a bit of an insight at the start there, people got up into each other on the warm-up lap, or something happened there because it was a bit of a false start?
I'm actually not sure. It's I was sort of seen something in the revision mirror, but it was a fair bit of carnage, but I'm not really sure what happened there.
Yeah, it's fair enough. We had a few people comment on the stream trying to keep us updated with it as we didn't see that, mate. But Paul, Troy Davidson, your third place getter tonight. Anything you want to have a chat with Troy about?
I'm having a blank. All these weeks you keep asking me questions, and like to ask questions, and I've got to come up with something half the time. But no, he had a pretty good run there. I think Justin Witcher may have taken a bit of a different fuel strategy pit stop earlier in the green flag racing there, so under caution that allowed you to get a short pit stop in there. I think we said it was about 8 seconds compared to the next driver who had about 13 seconds, and we did see you run a longer run than anyone else, I think, as well. So was that a bit of fuel saving earlier on in the run there to do that longer run, or what happened there?
Yeah, 100%, Paul. I was just half throttle for the first, probably half a race, just really fuel conserving, and I was going to make it on fuel. I think all the other cars wouldn't have, and I was going to make it, but then the caution came out. But either way, I sort of thought, well, I'll get a short pit stop late in the race, which sort of put me to the front of the pack, and just worked on it from there. So that was dead on. That was my strategy that I was going with.
Well, Troy, great job on your P3 there, mate. Nice solid result once again for the Sim Boys Racing 023 car. But, mate, very good for your championship as well. We'll get you to stay on board just for a few, or stay online with us, sorry, if you can, for 5 minutes as we wrap this up, just to get your view on the series and a little bit moving forward as we've just finished round 7. But, mate, congratulations again from us at the Intersim Esports Network for a P3 tonight. Another solid finish. Anyone you want to thank for your podium finish?
Yeah, cheers, Phil. It's just the Sim boys, and I think last time I forgot the missus, so I'll give her a thanks as well for letting me do this every second night pretty much. But yeah, no, just thanks to the league and everyone that's involved. It's great fun.
No worries at all, mate. We'll talk to you shortly, but congratulations on your P3. We'll move forward, though, Paul, and we'll move to your second position place getter tonight, Raymond Yeager for Pinnacle Esports in that ZB Commodore, mate. Nice solid P2. I'm sure you're happy with that one.
Yeah, mate. What a race! What a finish! A little bit disappointed to come second again, same as last week, but consistency is good, I guess.
Well, we did make a joke a couple of weeks ago that we need to keep a seat warm up in the broadcast booth for your teammate Justin Witcher, who had 2 wins in a row. You've now had 2 P2s in the row, mate. Do we need to do the same thing for you, I think, as we go to a road course at Laguna Seca next week?
I definitely don't worry about keeping the seat warm next week. I won't be anywhere near it. But yeah, look, tonight, I think I sort of sat third for pretty much the whole race, pushing, I think, Greg and then Troy for a while as well. I was pretty happy sitting there. Did not want to be leading that last lap at all, but unfortunately that's where I was. So had to try and make the best of it. Thought I got it on the line, but yeah, no, Gary must got a good push on the outside, so well done to him.
Well, I don't know if you heard on the broadcast, whether you're up in the broadcast booth, but the final margin between you and Gary Wellman was 0.002 of a second as you went across the line.
Yeah, not surprising. I knew it was really, really close. I think I should have just continued to go under the yellow. I came back above it, and I think that probably cost me a little bit of track position, I guess.
Well, Paul, anything you want to add to Raymond before Raymond will also get you to stay on if you can just for a couple of minutes while we wrap up the broadcast. We'll come back to you, but anything you want to chat to Raymond about before we go through the formalities with himself?
Might just have to touch base on what happened there with Greg. So obviously Greg was running up the front there, and you were doing a great job pushing multiple cars all night. And you tucked right in on everyone's bumpers there. So what happened there with Greg, just a little bit unfortunate obviously to spin your teammate off the track there, but Greg managed to get back on the back of the pack there.
Yeah, that was just my bad. I got him just before the turn in the tri-oval, and that's the worst place to touch the bumper, and I got him, and luckily he kept it going and tagged on the back of the pack. But yeah, that was completely on me. I felt really, really comfortable in behind cars. I sort of knew where I could get to and be able to push comfortably. I felt really comfortable doing that. I just ran out of teammates by the end of it and didn't have anyone to push.
And Raymond, since you're on the subject of teammates, you did have that unfortunate incident, which does happen on super speedways with Greg, but Justin Witcher came into tonight round 7, the leader of the championship. He had a pretty solid night most of the night, sort of running around that top 10, did get caught up in a little bit of stuff. I'm sure he's very disappointed with his 15th finishing position tonight. Have you had any discussions with Justin, obviously, through the race and afterwards after that one's probably the one that could have been for Justin after coming away with 2 wins in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, so for Justin, he got caught up in whatever happened before that green flag a bit, and his steering was a bit off for the whole race. So he never really thought he had much chance of winning. I know he ran towards the front most of the night, like in the lead pack, but the steering was a bit dodgy, and he never really felt he had a chance. Obviously, he got caught up again in that last caution as well. So no, it sucks for him. I think he finished 15th or something, so he's probably going to lose the lead of the championship maybe. But no, look, he's consistent as he'll be there or thereabouts by the end of the year.
Yeah, well, we'll find. Sorry, Paul, you go.
Oh, you're right. I was going to say, can we get a comment on Justin's pit strategy there? You and Justin pitted at the same time, and he had a big jump out of pit lane there as well.
Yeah, so he actually doesn't know what happened there. He got out of there probably, I don't know, 15 seconds before me. Yeah, so he's not actually sure what happened. I think his app that he uses maybe half fueled him for that one, so he could half fuel for the next one, the next stop, because still need to pit one more time after that stop anyway. So I think that's what happened.
Well, mate, it does explain it because Paul did bring that up in the broadcast, and I was oblivious to it until he brought that up. So that does explain it. But, mate, nice solid job on a P2 finish there. That'll be really good for your championship as well, as it was for Troy that we spoke to earlier. Mate, I will get you to stick around for just a couple of minutes if you don't mind. But before we move on to the winner of round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, Raymond, anyone you want to shout out to, anyone you want to thank for your podium finish tonight?
Yeah, look, I just want to say to the boys, Troy, Gary, and Chris at the end there, like that was crazy good finish, crazy close, and we didn't make contact once. So incredible finish, well done, nice and clean. But in terms of the team, obviously I can't do it without them. Pinnacle Esports Racing, Witcher Electrics is our sponsor, main sponsor, and you boys on Intersim Esport have your name on the car as well. So thanks for that. But yeah, for the league, you guys again put on a great show every single week. I watch it back every week, and it just gets better and better every week. So thanks for that. League sponsors, obviously Ray White, Rural Gander, couldn't do it without him. Huge financial support, appreciate it big time. And obviously APE Sports for providing the winners trophy at the end of the year, and again Witcher Electrics. For helping us out as well. So yeah, no, pretty stoked, and thanks to all those boys. And again, like I say every single time I'm up here, couldn't do it without the drivers that turn up every week. So once again, thanks to everyone that rocks up each Sunday night.
Yeah, well said, mate. And you did touch on Ray White, Rural Gander, Pete Matson. He did tune in on the broadcast tonight too, mate, and made a few comments there. So he was watching and cheering everybody on. So big thank you to them. But, mate, we'll let you go for the moment. We will be back. We'll move on to the winner of round 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries here from Daytona International Speedway. Gary Wellman up with the win, mate. What a drive. You've got to be happy with that one.
Yeah, definitely can't complain with that. It's it's just another close finish as you'd expect from a super speedway, and again, similar to what Raymond said. It's just awesome when we can all race close and hard, and we all want to win just as much as each other. But to keep it clean was pretty cool finish.
Yeah, we saw you tried different strategies there, whether it be low line, high line. You ended up getting that run on the high line. Did you think with 3 or 4 to go, even before that green-white checker came out, did you think that high line was going to be where you were going to win the race, or did you think it was definitely going to be that low line?
Yeah, I knew I needed a run on the outside. Probably it's just wait for the right time, and hoping that the track would open up a bit and there'd be someone there to push me. And Precy was there, sort of, I think, the lap before, and gave me a bit of a run, and the rest kind of worked out for itself. I think it was a bit of a toss of the coin at the end there between the 3 or 4 of us, but I was sort of right place, right time, and just got there.
Well, once again, we saw the Simboys team really dominant on Speedway in the supercars up there again. 2 of the top 3, you've got 2 podium finishes tonight. So nice, solid effort again. And we see your team and all your drivers are part of it really solid in these cars. There's something that really, really clicks with you guys and the ovals and the V8 supercar. So no surprise to see you at the front again tonight.
Yeah, that's it. I think particularly super speedways, we always seem to be up there and having a good run there. So it's real good. And Chris there in 4th. So we're pretty much up the front most of the night, and keeping the cars pretty clean. So that's the way you want to keep it on those big ones.
Yeah, 100%. And Christopher Finlay, you just mentioned, he'd be happy with the P4. Justin Witcher with an unfortunate result tonight down in P15. So that will definitely help Christopher Finlay try and take the lead of this championship after round 7 with 5 to go, mate.
Yeah, that's it. He's pretty consistent, Chris. And Witch has been up there every race too. So a bit of a bugger that one for him. But anyway, we all get those races, and I'm sure he'll be right up there next time.
Well, mate, we've got you. Quick shout out to everyone you want to shout out to, all your sponsors, etc., and then we'll get the 3 of yours thoughts on the upcoming rounds and before we wind up this broadcast.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Like Troy said, Sim Boys, just a bunch of blokes having a good time, and we have a bit of a laugh and don't take ourselves too serious, but it's always good to be up the pointy end. And yeah, you guys for the broadcast. It's always good. And the V8 Supercar series, I've always been a fan of the V8 ovals, and Raymond and the crew for putting on the series. I reckon it's a ripper.
Yeah, it is a ripper to call. Me and Paul say offline most weeks, mate, that we wish we were back racing it, but we have so much fun being able to bring all the images and a little bit of things to take home to your family and loved ones and friends, etc., to be able to watch this back. So, mate, congratulations again on your P1. But real quickly, guys, before we let you go, we do go back road racing next week at Laguna Seca for 40 laps. We did go to Oran Park a couple of weeks ago, and it definitely did mix up the results there. A couple of the usual guys on ovals did make some surprisingly really good runs at Oran Park, but we did have a first start, first winner who hasn't been back actually take the spoils on road. So we'll start back in P3. Troy Davidson, how are you feeling heading into round 8 at Laguna Seca next Sunday night?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I like Laguna Seca track, and I've just changed my wheelbase this week to the new CSL direct drive, so that's a bit of a step up from the Logitech and a bit more fuel in the supercars. So yeah, I just think it's great that it's a bit of a mix up in the series, and just shakes things up a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's great to call turning right as opposed to turning left as well. It's a great initiative by the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries to bring in a couple of road tracks, because it definitely does allow some people that don't do a lot of oval and do road to jump in here and do quite well. And then the other way around too. A lot of guys that do a lot of oval, and you just get dragged down the path, whether it's oval or road, and you get to do a lot of road stuff and fine your skills up, as they say, get better. But we'll move to Raymond quickly, Troy. Raymond, we know your answer. You've already pretty much given that one, but Laguna Seca for 40 laps, that's just, from what I'm hearing in your voice, just going to be a nice consolidating round?
Yeah, look, it's going to be one of those ones where I sort of just run around at my own pace and finish where I finish. I mean, I haven't quite got my head around the V8s on road courses yet. Haven't done a lot of it, so I'm all right with the GT car there, but haven't run at Laguna Seca with the V8 yet. So we'll have a bit of a practice on Tuesday night and see what happens.
Well, 2 podiums in 2 weeks. I'm sure you want to not be the bridesmaid next week, so we'll see what happens at Laguna Seca, mate. But Gary Wellman, your thoughts on Laguna Seca next week, mate? Winning tonight, obviously, on oval, back to a road course. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, don't think I'm too confident going to back there, but I was into the World Cup one at Oran Park, so hopefully I can improve on that effort anyway.
Yeah, well, that's it, and that's the pleasure about iRacing. We can go again next week. So anyway, we won't take the shine away from your P1 tonight, mate. Great job. Thank you, gentlemen, for making yourself available on the broadcast, and sensational drive to fill the podium positions here at round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Paul, we will move on to the back end of this broadcast. What a great race it was. We did see Gary Wellman take the win round 7, followed by Raymond Yeager and Troy Davidson on the podium, Christopher Finlay and Terry Marwood rounding out your top 5. We'll just quickly, if we can, move across to your championship standings as we go through them after a little bit of a mix-up with the points. So it hasn't tightened up as much as we thought at the front. It is unofficial standings, ladies and gentlemen. There do need to have penalty points if there are any applied, and bonus points for leading laps, etc. But Justin Witcher still leads the way for Pinnacle Esports up the front there with 228 points, followed by Christopher Finlay in the second position on 219 points. Troy Davidson, after a nice solid podium finish tonight, moving up into 4th place there with 203 points. Gary Wellman, your winner tonight, is actually one above. In 3rd place, moves up. He's 214 points, just 5 points behind his teammate Christopher Finlay in P3. Raymond Yeager, after another podium finish tonight, up into 5th spot, 198 points, only 30 points off the lead of the championship. Cade Donnelly up there, tied with Shannon Wright on 172 points in 6th and 7th, respectively. Darren McKenzie, who was not out on track tonight, has moved back down 4 positions, back to 8th position on 168 points. Greg Spencer is in 9th on 156 points and up 4 positions this week on his championship result, even after, by his own admission, I'd suggest not one of the solidest finishes for him, but Jaden Russell finishing in 10th place, rather, on 145 points in the championship pool.
Yeah, so Peter Matson, who again wasn't on track tonight, dropping 3 spots there, 144 points. Andy Barber, Aaron Dillon, Dwayne Priest, Adam Malone. So Dwayne Priest and Adam Malone up 5 and 3 spots. Nigel Padden maintaining 16th spot there. Michael Shaw up 3 spots, and Sam K dropping 5 spots. So, being a road course next week, I wonder if we'll see Sam K back at Laguna Seca and the V8s.
No doubt we will, Paul. Sam was on our socials tonight commenting on our stream, so no doubt he did say he's not a fan of the Super Speedway, so no doubt we will see him come back next week. But you can see down into 28th at the moment in the championship is Philip Howe down there on 63 points. But Paul, what a great night racing here at Daytona International Speedway. Never ceases to disappoint us here for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. We're now 7 rounds done, as quick as that of 12, only 5 to go. It has gone through in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, well, super speedways, they tend to go fast, and yeah, 7 rounds done and dusted. That's gone pretty quick too.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me, guys. I just needed to have a little bit of a cough. I've been talking too quick all night. But, Paul, what a great race tonight. That is, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, round 7 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. All done and dusted. Your winner tonight, Gary Wellman, Raymond Yeager in P2, Troy Davidson P3. You will see us broadcasting the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries live again next Sunday night from 7:30 p.m. We go to Laguna Seca and we go road racing for 40 laps in the supercars. So looking forward to that one for round 8 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. But before we get there, Paul, next Friday night, we go Next Gen Cup racing again for the full throttle Friday night Next Gen Series. This week, they go to the Brickyard for Indianapolis for 100 laps. Looking forward to that one on Friday night.
Yeah, I don't mind Indianapolis, and had some fun races around there. So we'll be looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, I am too. I am a fan of Indianapolis, and those next-gen cars around there are very fun to drive, so looking forward to that one. But, Paul, great call tonight. Glad to have you in the booth. As always, great job. It's been good to bring all the action to you here on the Indosim Esports Network on a Sunday night for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. That is a wrap for round 7. We go to round 8 next week at Laguna Seca. From Paul, myself, everyone at the Indosim Esports Network, the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, all its sponsors, Ray White, Rural Gander, Witcher Electrics, and AP Esports, we thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed all the action. We hope to see you back here next Friday night for the Full Throttle iRacing League's Next Gen Series, and also the next round, round 8 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries from Laguna Seca. So from behalf of Paul, myself, we wish you a good night, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday night.